Hello everyone, and welcome to my Sister Wives For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Kody Brown had spent years carefully crafting an image of a patriarch just struggling to keep his massive plural family afloat, but everything about that public narrative shattered the moment alleged secret bank statements surfaced, documents that insiders claim expose an unbelievable financial scandal involving Kody, Robyn, and a missing $150,000 that rightfully belonged to the kids. For a family that once prided itself on transparency, unity, and fairness, the Brown universe has now descended into a chaos deeper than anything viewers watched on Sister Wives. According to the whispers spreading fast within Flagstaff and online fan circles, the receipts point to a quietly opened account controlled exclusively by Kody and Robyn, allegedly funded by earnings meant to be split with the children, money tied to TLC paychecks, cameo revenue, book royalties, and even contributions from family side projects. While the other wives spent years complaining about feeling left out of financial discussions, no one expected the situation to escalate into accusations of outright theft, and certainly not on this scale. But the smoking gun, people claim, is a series of bank transfers showing large portions of family income funneled out of shared accounts and into what fans are calling the Robyn/Kody/fund. And at the center of the storm? None other than Janelle Brown, the woman who fought hardest for fairness, budgets, financial planning, and equal treatment for all of their combined 18 children. Now she's reportedly the most furious of all. When Janelle allegedly discovered the account, sources claim she only found out after a young adult child accidentally saw a statement. Her reaction was explosive. After all, this is the same woman who poured every penny she had into building on Coyote Pass while watching Kody and Robyn spend freely in their luxury home. This is the same woman who had to fight for years just to get Kody to show up for conversations about money. The moment she saw transfers totaling over $150,000 alleged to be from accounts the kids were supposed to benefit from, accounts meant for education, emergencies, and future home building, Janelle was said to be shaking with anger. For years, viewers thought Janelle was the calm, rational, logical one, but this scandal cracked through her peaceful exterior. Friends report she was pacing, furious, unable to comprehend how Kody could justify siphoning money from their own kids at a time when several of them were struggling, when some were moving across states, when others were building new families and needed help. And the cutting detail? Janelle believes Kody and Robyn did this quietly, while letting her believe the family was too broke to even pay off the land she herself had funded. Every argument suddenly makes more sense. Every deflection, every excuse, we just don't have the money right now, Janelle. The alleged bank statements, which fans say were leaked from a relative who saw them during a financial dispute, point to multiple withdrawals made over several years. The money trail reportedly shows that revenue tied to older kids' appearances and individual contributions to the show were being lumped into a common pool, one that Kody openly claimed was needed for family expenses. But where exactly were those family expenses? Because they weren't covering Christine's kids. They weren't helping Janelle's boys facing difficult housing situations. They weren't easing Mary's financial burdens during her lonely months in Utah. No, the accusations say the money helped fund personal purchases in Robyn's household, higher-end furniture, private school tuition for Robyn's children, car payments for Robyn's son Dayton's transportation arrangements, and even upgraded security systems for their Flagstaff home. And if the reports are true, the most damning part is that the kids whose money was being used had no idea it was disappearing. Most fans knew Kody favored Robyn emotionally, but few could have predicted that favoritism applied at the financial level too, especially to the point where other children's earnings were allegedly covering Robyn's household expenses. Janelle, ever the one focused on practicality, reportedly confronted Kody with everything she learned. Insiders claim the yelling could be heard through the walls, Janelle accusing him of betrayal, of manipulating his position as the head of the family, of choosing Robyn's kids over the others financially, of lying to her face year after year. Kody allegedly tried to defend himself by saying that all the money is family money, that he never stole anything, and that we all agreed long ago that I should manage the finances. But that excuse didn't fly for Janelle, who's been screaming for financial transparency since the first Arizona move. Fans online say Janelle told him the financial system hasn't been equal in years. How else do you explain why she walked away from the marriage almost completely empty-handed while Robyn ended up in the only fully paid-for home in the family? Why did Christine have to leave with nothing but emotional exhaustion? Why was Mary financially isolated? Why were Janelle's sons helping pay family bills while Kody invested almost exclusively into Robyn's household? That $150,000 missing was just the beginning, the symbol of how far things had gone. One adult child reportedly felt sick after realizing money they believed was being saved for them had instead been rerouted. Several of the older kids were reportedly blindsided, some thinking their TLC participation had earned them a financial cushion they could use later in life. Many assumed the money just stayed in a family trust they were told existed, but now seems never to have been formed. Instead, the alleged bank statements show something more disturbing. Their funds helped prop up a lifestyle Kody insisted he needed to stay sane, one that Robyn insisted needed privacy and security. In the eyes of the kids, the favoritism they felt growing up now appears to have been more than emotional. It was financial, structural, and disturbingly organized. Christine, who has long distanced herself from Kody's financial chaos, is reportedly absolutely livid on behalf of her children. She always suspected the money wasn't being divided fairly, especially after she realized Robyn was receiving new furniture while she was struggling to feed 6 kids with no real child support system in place. But now with these alleged bank statements surfacing, she feels vindicated. She always accused Kody of using money as a weapon, but now she sees it might have been worse than anyone imagined. Kody didn't just withhold resources. He allegedly took money directly tied to children's work and used it without telling their mothers. That crosses a line Christine believes can never be repaired. Meanwhile, Robyn is reportedly in total meltdown mode, crying, hyperventilating, insisting she didn't know, swearing she thought Kody was keeping everything fair, begging people not to blame her children. But even fans believe Robyn had to know something. After all, she's the only wife who regularly reviewed finances with Kody. She is the only wife who had access to joint funds. She was the only one who didn't ask questions when the family kept saying they were broke, while checks somehow kept appearing for her household. While her tears may be real, the damage is already done. Former fans have now labeled her the financial villain of the Brown family saga, the partner who stood by as other wives and kids struggled while her own children maintained stability. If she didn't know, critics ask, why didn't she question why everyone else was drowning? The scandal has created massive tension between the siblings as well. Some of Robyn's children reportedly feel unfairly targeted, insisting they never asked for anyone else's money. Dayton, Aurora, and Brianna don't want to be blamed for adult decisions made by their parents. But Janelle's kids, particularly the older boys who clashed with Kody during the pandemic, aren't holding back their anger. They feel this proves what they always believed. Kody never considered them equal to Robyn's children. If he did, how could he take their money earned from their childhood being televised and redirected into Robyn's home without even telling them? Kody's response to all of this has reportedly been denial mixed with defensiveness. Some insiders say he is calling the bank statements misunderstood, saying the transfers were temporary, that he planned to pay it all back once the land was developed or once new seasons were renewed. But no one seems to buy it, not the kids, not the ex-wives, not the fans, not even people close to him in Flagstaff. Because if the money was truly intended to be paid back, why weren't the other wives told? Why didn't Kody discuss any of it at their endless financial meetings? Why did he keep the account only in his and Robyn's names? The scandal has reportedly grown so big that lawyers are now being mentioned quietly in the background of the family's discussions. Some of the children allegedly want legal clarity about whether their earnings were mishandled or wrongfully accessed. A few of the older kids are said to be exploring whether they are entitled to compensation from TLC or from the family's internal finances. Janelle, who once prided herself on keeping things peaceful and never taking extreme action, is reportedly encouraging her kids to get the answers they deserve. She no longer trusts Kody in any capacity, not as a husband, not as a father, and certainly not as a financial manager. The most heartbreaking part of all is how this scandal affects the younger kids who grew up believing their family, no matter how complicated, was built on love and shared responsibility. Now they are left processing the idea that their father may have secretly drained money meant for them, or for their siblings, and funneled it into a household he openly favored. Years of emotional favoritism can be explained away, but missing bank funds? That hits differently. That lingers. That scars. Fans online have exploded with theories, some insisting the scandal could destroy the show, others predicting season 20 will dive into the financial mess. Many believe the revelations will push Janelle to expose everything publicly for the first time, especially since she's no longer obligated to protect Kody's image. Janelle has been quieter than Christine, calmer than Mary, and more loyal than anyone expected. But even loyal women snap when they discover their children have been exploited. In the end, the alleged $150,000 theft isn't about the dollar amount. It's about trust, betrayal, secrecy, and years of manipulation finally being dragged into the light. It's about the family realizing that while Kody preached unity, he was allegedly orchestrating financial decisions that benefited one household while depriving the others. And it's about Janelle, steady, patient, long-suffering Janelle, finally having proof of what her instincts warned her about for years. The Brown family will never be the same, the kids will never look at their father the same, and Robyn will never again be able to claim she was just trying to bring everyone together. Because according to these alleged bank statements, the financial truth tells a very different story, one where Kody and Robyn weren't unifying the family at all. They were allegedly draining it from within. And as the dust continues to swirl around the alleged financial betrayal, the emotional fallout inside the Brown family is becoming even more intense, with late-night phone calls, frantic text messages, and emotional breakdowns happening across multiple states as the kids try to understand how this betrayal could have happened right under their noses. Several insiders say that one of the most painful realizations for the older children is that the missing $150,000 isn't an isolated anomaly. It's just the amount someone happened to catch. Many believe the real number could be much larger, spanning years of quiet transfers and family expenses that were never explained. One child reportedly told a friend, "If this is what got leaked, imagine what we didn't see," suggesting that the Brown kids might be bracing for even more disturbing revelations about how their labor, their appearances, and even their trauma on reality TV were financially exploited. And for kids who grew up being told they were part of a united plural family, this cuts deeper than anything they've been through before. The scandal has also reignited old wounds that never healed. The boys who had tense relationships with Kody over pandemic rules are now saying this proves everything they argued about: Kody's favoritism, double standards, and inability to treat all children equally wasn't imagination but systemic behavior. One of the older boys reportedly said he feels robbed twice, first emotionally, now financially. Meanwhile, the girls who tried for years to earn their father's affection are now questioning whether his emotional distance was tied to financial motivations, wondering if the reason they never received support was because the money was being funneled somewhere else. The emotional unraveling is enormous, and even Christine, usually a voice of resilience and optimism, now feels crushed by the thought that her children may have lost life-changing financial support because Kody prioritized another household behind closed doors. Robyn, for her part, is allegedly spiraling as the accusations pile up, insisting she is being unfairly villainized. But insiders say her crying and defensiveness are only making things worse. Because instead of showing accountability or shock, she is reportedly framing herself as the victim, saying she is scared her marriage won't survive the pressure, that she feels targeted, and that the kids have turned against her. But the rest of the family sees this as a deflection tactic, a way to avoid discussing the hard questions. Why did she never demand transparency? Why did she never question why her household was the only one not struggling? Why was she comfortable being the sole wife allowed access to Kody's financial decisions? Emotional tears do little to convince the kids that she was oblivious, especially when none of the mothers ever received the same financial privileges she did. And Kody, always loud, always defensive, always certain he's right, has reportedly begun lashing out in his typical fashion, accusing the women of overreacting and the kids of disrespect. He insists he didn't do anything wrong and that everything he did was for the family, but as Janelle keeps pointing out, which family? The one he favored or the one he abandoned? The one he financially protected or the one he left with empty pockets and unpaid land? The longer he tries to dodge accountability, the clearer it becomes that this scandal might finally be the breaking point that ends any last shred of unity the Brown family once clung to.